See, the books of these days are slow to open. If it was the earlier days, I would come with my notes. But now these days, you are expected to just have them in the computer. So who is the oldest in KCB? 3 months. Oh, can we clap for them? And they have the responsibility of teaching us during the course what is KCB for 3 months, isn't it? Because somebody else said 1 week. So my guess is that if you have somebody who has been 3 months, then they know something that they need to share. That's part of teamwork, sharing what you know. Although you may think, when my friend is around, you think 3 months is too short. But my guess is that it's a period of time. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that basically the best thing you can do is to be a learner, a life learner. And there is always something you will learn from somebody else. And I thought that's the thing I learned in life. I started working more than 35 years ago. Looking at your age, most of you did not exist. But I left university in the mid-70s and joined a development bank. That was my first employment, a development bank. And although I'm not talking about banking because they are experts who are able to deal with that for you, I thought that I need to say right at the beginning that the thing that helped me as a young man is to be a learner. And I learned many, many things from people. I still remember I was in large scale, so development bank, we were in large scale projects. And I still remember somebody who had borrowed money to, those days Kenya had just gotten independent, so a lot of properties were owned by foreigners. So somebody went and bought a big property by a foreigner. And then the bank I was working for is the one that gave the loan. And then I was busy doing the checking whether we could release his collateral and preparing the documents. And he is talking to us project officers. And he said, "Young men, are you not lucky?" We asked why. "You went to school." Because you're seeing us behind desks that used to be occupied by Wazungus. You know what Wazungus are? By Wazungus earlier. So you feel, the first people who entered into industry after Kenya was independent. And there were those days in the 70s, there were very few Kenyans that were graduates. So it sounded like a big thing. Hey? So we said, "We don't understand you." He owned a whole shopping center. He owned a coffee farm. He was a millionaire. Those days were not billionaires, but he was a millionaire. So we actually were honest with him as young men. He said, "Wait a minute. We actually want to be like you. How can you say you want to be like us?" And so he just opened up to us and started telling us how that he never sleeps. Because he is in the town office trying to ensure that the businesses in town are doing well. When he drives home, he was staying outside in the outskirts of Nairobi, around Ruiru, where he had those who know Nairobi, where he had the coffee farm. He can't sleep because he now wants to check what happened on the farm. By the time he sleeps, he has only got a few hours to sleep before he wakes up the following morning. And at night he can hardly sleep. Because once you are at the top of the tree, the only direction is, now if you're on top of the tree, which direction can you go? Down. So you need to understand, he felt like since he was now at the top, he was fighting everything so that he doesn't go down. But for you people, you're at the bottom, isn't it? You're at the bottom, where can you fall? There's nowhere you can fall. So the only direction is up. Now do you see which position you are in? That where you are, you can't fall further. You may be junior, you may be new, but you can't fall. The only direction is up. But the guys in the KCB board, the guys in the top management, the only direction is down. So chances are you must, and when you don't want to learn from others, you get into trouble. You need to start seeing that there's something you have and something somebody else has. It's a critical thing. My suggestion to you on this idea of becoming a learner is to end up with 3 mentor-mentees. Everybody. I've written a book called Friendship, which is on interpersonal relationship. If you ever get a copy. This my distributor here is called Bibrica. So if you Google who is Bibrica, they can get you a copy of my book on friendship, on interpersonal relationship. And I say every human being who wants to realize their potential, to reach the very top of their life, the way God created them, He created them with potential. If you want to realize your potential, you must have a minimum of 3 mentor-mentees. And I'll tell you in a minute why I'm calling them mentor-mentees. It's because the person you are mentoring may also mentor you. I have a website. That you cannot create. I'm around 60. When I started working, there were no computers. Used to be a big room. So if you hear our website, it don't give me credit. It's a young person where I used to go speak in the University of Nairobi, and there was an IT person. Then they left the campus and went to work in Mombasa. And then one day we met in Mombasa and said, do you still talk to campuses? He said, yes. Oh, I really miss those talks. I said, but you graduated. He said, no. Do you know, Mr. Nganga, I can open a website for you, and then those talks you give to the students, you place on the website, and we also, your old listeners, can also be hearing. I said, no. I'm not at the age of website and Facebook, and I'm not in that generation. So the next time I was in Mombasa, the person said again, Mr. Nganga, you refuse me to open a website for you. I will just do it. I still felt like it's not my age. But that time, the person was still at it and told me they would do it. They told me what it means, what will be done. And they gave me a questionnaire. They were now serious. So I went back to Nairobi, emailed back the questionnaire. That's how I got my website. Surely. Remember, she's talking to me as a mentor. But now, on this website, who was a mentor, who was a mentee? I'm getting the point. A young person, not less than half my age, was able to help me, slowly to convince me of the need of a website, finally bring it up. And now when you go to the website, can you see I was mentored by somebody half my age? If you do not understand the value of younger people mentoring you, you will never realize your potential. Last night, I opened, after we left the conference where we were, I opened my machine to see somebody having written to me, says I was Googling for anybody who can talk about Christianity and business, how to be a Christian in business. And I came to your website. I also noted in your website that you are going to be giving talks in Crown Plaza next week. Can you give me information about that? And I said, what? I mean, I have no idea who the person is. Just because there's a website, either you are in a Eskimo, you just Google Christianity and business. It will just go to Taruma Consultants. And then they are talking to me. And because they say they happen to be in Kenya, they actually want to go to Crown Plaza. So I'm looking forward next week, when I'm giving the talks in Crown Plaza, to see the person. Because of my having agreed to be mentored by a small girl. I'm getting my point? I am reaching more people because I was willing to be mentored by a small. But she's not very small. She's now a married person with somebody going to primary school. So I hope right as you enter here, you start understanding them. That it is important for every one of us to have somebody younger, somebody less experienced, somebody not as good as you in your relationships. You know, most of us are so proud that we don't operate with people below our dignity. Who are you? The way you dress, I'm not your class. Now you need to understand that when you do not operate with some of your friends, not being as good as you, not being your age, whichever you want to say what it means, not as rich as you, not whatever it is you want to say, you need people who are not as good as you. 3 things will happen when you have those kind of people. Number 1, when you feel so discouraged, there's nothing you know. When they ask you a question, you say, Kumbe, there's something I know. Now, when you operate with people better than you, they always make you feel like resigning. Am I right? When you have people who are below you, people who are looking up to you, like your younger brother, who ask you, please show me how to add 3 plus 5. In the meanwhile, you can't calculate your calculus in the university. And after you have been unable to do your calculus, you feel so hopeless. I will not pass my exam. And then your brother says, what is 3 plus 6? And you feel 3 is something I know. It gives you encouragement to go back to your calculus. Am I communicating? So it's important. And a lot of people, especially in Africa, are unable to appreciate how to learn from junior people to them. They simply want to learn from people above. They don't want to learn from people below. So the first thing it helps you is when you deal with somebody younger, they help you to keep at a higher standard because you don't want to fall down and disappoint the younger person. Am I right? That if you, when you know your sister is looking up to you, you don't want to go getting pregnant anyhow. Now, she thinks you are such a wonderful woman. You have a wonderful wedding in a white dress. So just escape and get married. So every time a boy plays with you, you say, hey, my younger sister, I want to keep an example. Am I right? Yes. So it's important to have in your relationship, whether it's professional at work, look for people you can mentor, people who can help. Because the second reason for why you need those younger people, the first one I've told you, it helps you to keep motivated to be better. The second one, it helps you to see them improve. I worked for Shell for 30 years and helped develop many people. Some of the people I recruited, within no time, they were so good. I'm the one who recruited them, much younger than me. Within no time, they are so good that they go around for a job in America, they get the job. So that within no time, I, their boss, I was getting help from them in London, in the US, wherever. You can imagine how proud I am when they say, by the way, I was recruited by Mr. Nganga. They are huge. They are known everywhere. But without me, they will never have entered the Shell system. Are you getting my point? There is joy in helping others to be better. There is joy in helping others to improve. And if you miss the ability to have somebody with you whom you are helping, chances are you lose that joy. So it's important to have people younger than you, people not as good as you, people below you, and commit yourself to mentor them, not for your sake, but for their own sake. Because when they succeed, you are going to be the beneficiary as you get the joy of it. But thirdly, why you need to have mentor somebody younger is because they act like your revision exercise. The things they're asking you are things you forgot a long time ago. Now when they ask you, what do? You have to revise, isn't it? And even at work, there are certain basic issues you easily forget when you become senior. But there are issues that you still need even as a senior person. Remember, even in the university, you still need to know 3 plus 5, isn't it? Although you learned it when you are 6 years. So it's important to keep remembering. So it's important to understand that when you deal with somebody younger, they sort out your basics. Because they keep reminding you the importance of the basics. And let me tell you, anybody who forgets the basic is condemning himself to fall. Because the basics are important. You learn them early, but they are important to the growth. So have I convinced you that it is important to always have somebody not as good as you, whom you are mentoring? It can be on the spiritual level. There are people whose Christianity is questionable, but you want to be with them. And you help them. It makes you, when you are being tempted, to say, that person is looking up to me. I can't go down. The same thing with your professionalism. You are trying to see somebody how to work professionally, to manage your time, and yet your time is messed up. You never keep time, and yet you are the one helping another one to keep time. It ensures that you yourself have to work on your keeping time. It's an important thing. It's an important thing to know it. So I don't have a lot of time, but I hope I have convinced you that it is in your interest to mentor others who are not giving you. The trouble with those with that category of friends is that they drain you. Because most of the time, if you have had a whole day with them, there's nothing you have learned. Because they are draining you. They are benefiting all the time. They really want to be with you, but they are gaining and you don't seem to be gaining. So most people don't have those friends. And there are people even seated here who cannot talk of anybody who is a trainer whom they relate with. And once you realize he's a trainer, you chase them away. As soon as you chase them, you are weakening your own growth. Second level of people that you must ensure you have if you want to grow and realize your potential is somebody who is better than you. Better than you. Again, our pride is a problem. Most of us do not deal with somebody. If somebody is your boss, you keep off. You touch him with a long spoon. Because obvious. Or if somebody is in your class and always getting A's, you normally don't have friendship like that. You know somebody who is making you feel like your B is bad. Because normally when you have a B and others have a C, you feel great. Until the A comes and spoils the party. Now, so basically a lot of us do not want to be the company of people better than us. It's not easy. Like if you're somebody, you hear somebody is a CEO somewhere, you are just a clerk, and they want to have a cup of tea with you. And you know, you should be excited, but you feel like I'm in the wrong company. Isn't it? Now, so you end up, a lot of us, most of us, majority of us, cannot because we feel intimidated. So even if the person who is senior to you wants to be your friend, you keep off. You make it very difficult. You come to his office, he relax, he wants to have to talk with you, and he says, "Sir, what can I do for you?" There was nothing you wanted. I just wanted to have a good morning and know how you are doing. You disappear as quickly as you came in. Now, that intimidation will consign you to mediocrity. When you decide you operate at your level, never higher, you know, if you're a basketball player, and you are the one, like my sister at the back, you are the one the school says, you are the one the nation says. You need to go to an NBA and talk to Michael Jackson. What was he called? Jordan. And you just see him looking the other side and throws it. And you say, hiya. He doesn't even have to look. Now, at that time you realize how little you know. Am I communicating? And what does it do? It makes you also learn that although you are the best, you're only the best among the mediocres. It is important to start looking at higher level. And it's important to know those people, to relate with them, so that once in a while they put you in your place, so that you can work hard. It's important to look in your life. Do you have people who are just good? You know very well you can never reach them. You just know that so and so is my age, but he's just good at timekeeping. And I'm a total mess on timekeeping. Normally you run away from those people, isn't it? You go to another person, their room is orderly. So orderly, you can even say where the paper goes, where the book goes, where the pin goes, and your room, when you ask for something, somehow you discover it. But, so you normally run away from you. Please go to somebody better than you. And keep going there, because it will keep improving. Or you may never go to their standard, but you'll improve, am I right? As soon as you see it. But if you run away from it, you now keep to other people who are disorganized as you, then you'll be happy in your disorganization. So it's important to go to someone better than you in whichever area. And I'm not trying to restrict myself. It can be age, it can even be in marriage. Their marriage is better than your marriage. So every time you go there and you see how harmonious they are with the husband, the wife starts a sentence, the husband finishes, you say, oh God, will I ever talk like that with my husband? Now, you need to understand that by relating with the people like that, it helps you to keep moving. If you're always quarreling with your husband, at least you need to go to people who don't quarrel, so that you know it is possible not to quarrel. Then you are able to try. Now, so whichever area we're talking about, even if it is KCB, even if it's banking, look for somebody who is a top banker. Buy him a cup of tea. Are we together? You're not bribing him. You're just looking for opportunity to talk, isn't it? And there is absolutely no sharing you want to do. You don't even want promotion. You just want to know what makes him tick. How come you do like that? What's the story of your life? Initially they don't want to talk because they don't know why you are doing it. But by the third cup of tea, they open up, isn't it? And you start hearing their story. And it will help you to move beyond where you are. So I hope you can see, further than just relating with people under you, it is important to relate with people above you. Three things again, in summary, as to why those people are important. And it's important for everyone to always have somebody better than you. And in summary, what I have said, the first thing we have said is, when you relate with somebody better than you, he makes you stretch. You know objectives are supposed to be stretch targets. That means you don't just put a target you can reach easily. If you rely on your mediocre friends, you will just always be going for a fruit that is very near, isn't it? But other people are also going for the same fruit. So you can't go very far. If you're in marketing, You will just look for easy to find customers. Because nobody has challenged you on some impossible customers. Like going to open an account for the president. Say, no, you don't go that direction. Now then you meet somebody over tea who tells you, by the way, my first client was the president. How did you do it? Now you know he is putting in you a desire. Of course you may not reach the president, but at least you can go to the vice. He starts creating things in you that you have never imagined. Because the people you normally talk with are talking about Mama Boga, you know, the woman in the marketplace, open an account for her. Now, you need to hear somebody else. You at a higher level. Are you getting the point? And it's important to understand when that happens, it will always be making you everybody is saying you are the best in KCB. But because your mentor is so much higher, you never allow it to get into your head. Because when you are operating among your people, you are regarded as the best. You stop trying, isn't it? Of course, you are at the top. Until you meet a mentor who is better than you. So you need to look. So the first thing I've said is, it makes you stretch higher, and therefore you get higher than you could have had if you don't have a mentor. But then let me correct myself from the beginning. From what I'm saying, I'm talking about like it's only one mentor. Even among this class of mentors, there can be several. When I talk about a senior person better than you may have one in the area of girlfriend, boyfriend, because she knows how to manage her boyfriend so well, you really want to go with her, isn't it? That's one. But the other one who helps you at work is terrible with the boyfriend. So don't copy her on the issue of boyfriend. Just on selling. So the mentor on girlfriend must not be the mentor on selling. Are you getting my point? Because a lot of us, the problem with God is, once he is my mentor, although she is a mess in her marriage, I want to copy her. So my marriage also becomes a mess. Or because her marriage is a mess and she's a bestseller, I don't accept to be taught selling. It is possible, even when you go to school, there is geography, there is chemistry, there is physics, isn't it? Every teacher teaches you a different subject, isn't it? The fact that I can't teach you physics does not stop you listening to me on chemistry, isn't it? So come to her to teach me selling. She's such an expert. When it comes to marriage, hallelujah, I'm not with you. Because I know you are not an example on the issue of marriage issues. So you need to understand on this topic you're talking about, never copy somebody everywhere. None of us is an expert. I have kept telling my mentees, like our friend was saying, I've mentored many young people over the last 30 years. I've kept telling them, I'm not good in everything. Just pick what I'm good at. Copy that. Everything else, you become mediocre like me on those areas. So don't copy me. So I do not recommend anybody having just one mentor. None of us is good. Pick mentors like you pick subjects. And let the person help you only in the area he's good at. You can have a boss who is very organized. The desk is always clean, but he is lazy. Now so, copy him on the way he arranges his papers. But on the amount of laziness, avoid him. Are we together? So it's important to understand that as I'm talking about, it is on there. People have different strengths. Nobody can be a one mentor. Unfortunately, if you Google the topic of mentoring, most of the mentor writers, because they come from the West, believe in having a mentor, one mentor. I disagree with it completely. Because I haven't met so far anyone whom I can copy in everything. Everybody has ever met. There is a strength and a weakness. And then why bother even looking at others? My own life. There are so many areas I'm not good. So many areas I'm not good. That surely I would be lying to anybody to ask him to copy me in every area. For example, on the issue of marriage, I may be good to my wife when I'm available. But I don't give her quantity. I give her quality, not quantity, because I'm always running around, not available. So if you want to copy me, don't copy me on the way I run away from home. Copy me on my quality. Are we together? So there's an area you have to look at. All of us have strengths and weaknesses. And it's important to look at it. So I wanted to put that disclaimer so that you don't think that I'm talking about one person. So we have already said that this person helps you to have stretched target, which helps you to go further than your colleagues would have helped you. Number two, he doesn't help you to get a target when you deal with somebody like that. He helps you in showing you how to deal with your problems. Now, when you ask somebody junior than you are punishing him. If you ask somebody equal to you, he is facing the same problem you are facing. If you ask somebody better than you, they have gone through that in advance. So they can help you in the process. Because what you are going through, he went through a little earlier. So he can help. Am I communicating? So that it helps you. So when you have somebody better than you get the opportunity to move forward in the issues that you are dealing with. And that's why it's important to identify people who are good at the issues you are facing. And at every level of your career, there will be issues that are current. But do not assume you are the first person to go through it. There are people who went through the same thing. There are people who joined KCB many years ago, but I have been a customer from 77. That's when I opened my account. Before KCB, for those of you who have been to Nairobi, before the KCB building was built, we used to be what is now called the National Archives. Is where I opened the account. I still have the account today. If you Google Nganga, I hope you're not allowed to. Because you might know whether I have money or not. but I have an account with KCB from 1977 to date. Actually, I have the card, so don't try to sell a card to me. I have the gold card. So I'm a KCB person. But so there have been people who have been working for KCB for the last more than 40 years, even when it was National Grid List. I remember when I was in high school, they had another name. Now, so I have that case. So there must be people over time who know something you don't know. By the way, do not think you are going to be called a discoverer because of going through it. Other people went through it. So it is not very wise to go through something without asking when there is somebody who actually knows. Actually, the Bible, those of you who read the Bible, talk about a fool seeks no advice. So the other name for a fool is a person who seeks no advice. So anybody seated here who don't marry, ask us, I'm self-made. I never ask anybody. I can do it on my own. Your other title is fool. Because you cannot be a person who is clever if you do not want to seek help from other people. So it's important to seek advice from others. And this other person who is senior to you, it will be important because he helps you to go through the process. What that does is it makes your transition faster. He can't help you not to go through. You still have to go through the challenges. But because he is assisting you, you are able to go through it at a faster rate. So that's why that person is very, 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 very important to you. But the third thing that is important in this other person is that there are areas of weakness you don't even recognize yourself. But that other person only needs to be for a time with you. And because of the longer period he's been, he is able to tell you, by the way, you are not going to reach anywhere. Your time management is just a mess. But I'm one of the best in time management. Say, no, don't. Just before you come to that conclusion, let's go through. What have you done in the last 1 week? My conclusion, because of this and this and this, is that you need to improve on the area of time management. So when you did somebody order, they can see your life before you even tell it. You're trying to improve. You're trying to say how wonderful you are. But because they also pretended in a similar way earlier, they're able to see you alive. So it's important to deal with those older people because they can assist you. Many people who reach the top because they learn how to write or through people who are better than them. When you struggle on your own, you still get there, but not as fast as if you needed, you got help. So can you see it's important to look for them? Unfortunately, these are more difficult to get because they are so busy, they can't afford the time for you. So you must reorganize your time to make yourself available. Says, sir, could I have tea with you? I'm buying you tea this week. Says, I'm not available. Okay, next week are you available? No. After the next week, you don't give up. At least it's okay. I can see in December, the first week of December, I'm available. Most of us say, who do you think you are? Go hang. Now, but if you are clever, you say, even if it is December, one day it will come. So you just say, please put it in your diary and put it in mind. Once you have the first cup of tea and you enjoy the discussion, now it will not be you looking for the time. He is happy to mentor you. Remember we say, even him, he is looking for somebody to mentor, isn't it? So once he has hit with you, he is the one who will be reminding you, oh, that cup of tea of ours, we have not had it for some time. Because now, he makes you a project. He wants to help you so that he can get I told you there is marupurupu, there is something you get out of mentoring others, isn't it? As you see them improve, you feel nice, isn't it? So now you make your project to get through KCP to the top because he's committed. This person wants help. I'll help them. It took me 5 years to management. It will take them only 2.5. And they work on you to bring you to top management in 2.5 years. And you're not paying them. It's just a mentoring relationship. And both parties are benefiting, isn't it? So it's important to understand that it will not be easy. But those are, I'm talking about 3 types. So far we have gone 2 types of mentors. Mentor-mentees. People who are not as good as you, we covered that, isn't it? Now we have talked about people who are better than. But I can tell you, if you miss the third category, your life is a mess. Would you like to know the third category? People who are like you. Those are very important people. Somebody who is not better than you. You look at her, she's just like you. You look at him, he's just like you. So you succeed someplace, you fail someplace, just like you. There's nothing. Those are very important people. You need to have them. Why? When you relate with a younger person, you are not quite sure you can be honest with yourself. Because you see, they hold you in such esteem. Even when you are failing, you cannot share with them. You have difficulty sharing with them. When you deal with that big guy, even after you have failed, you are so embarrassed. By the time you are telling them, by the way, what we agreed I messed up, your legs are having fellowship. You just can't go before the person. But when you deal with your colleagues, you can tell them I messed up today. And he said, even me I messed up. Now 2 messers. Now you need to understand that when you relate with that, there is a benefit, not just something wrong. Why? The first benefit of having mentors who are your level is honesty. You can rest assured your girlfriend, your boyfriend, the people you are, when you are a girl, a girlfriend, when you are a boy, a boyfriend, because the other way around doesn't quite work. But when you are a girl, if you have a girlfriend who is really your pal, normally you open up, isn't it? Even after you have done a mess in KCP, you can't tell anybody. You just, let's have a cup of tea. You're feeling like somebody said, yeah, they feel terrible when they had. Now, at that point, you just call the person, and she can allow you to cry, and keep giving you tissues to cry. And then after your cry, says, have you finished your cry? Let me begin mine. Even me, I messed up, you cry, and she now returns the tissues. Now, it's a wonderful experience as you go through it. And that person helps you in stress management. So if you don't have something like that, who is a stress reliever, whom you can open up very quickly. But then I need to put a disclaimer. I did not imply that a man cannot help a girl. I only say if you are not married to them, they are likely. Because if they want to marry you, they realize if they tell you something honest, they might lose you. I marry you after you told me that, go, look for another girl. So because he doesn't want to be lost, he never tells you honestly, and you also don't become as honest as you can be. If you are married, it changes. Because you realize he has been tied with a marriage certificate. Even if they want to run away, you can bring them to court. So basically, it's easier for you to be honest. Earlier, before they sign on the dotted line, you are very careful what you say. so that's a different matter. That's not my subject today. But it's important to understand that when you have these people, even professionally, your workmates, normally if you are departmental head, they are also departmental head. You are not senior to them at all. But you can open up to them. And as you open up in those issues, it helps you to come to where you are able to be honest to yourself. So the first benefit in having a mentor who is of that type, the first benefit is simply the issue of honesty. Because even if the older person, the better person wants to help you, if you are not honest, he can't help you, isn't it? So it's important to understand then that because of opening up to her as my colleague, she is able to help me. Is that what you went through? Even me, I went through. In other words, somebody equal to you, whom you are honest with, can help you even more than the older person. Not because the older person doesn't want to help you, but because you never opened up to the older person as much. You need someone whom you feel safe to open up to. Somebody you feel they will not look down on you, they will not be. You know, the younger person feels, yeah, my mentor is like that. I didn't know. Oh, what did I do? Now, the most likely relationship might die. The other one feels, oh. By the way, the other one can accept The other one normally is not a problem. It's you who is fearing. Him, he has failed many times, so he knows there's nothing wrong with failure. But you feel higher. He seems to have such a wonderful marriage. Maybe he really was a wonderful boyfriend to his girlfriend. But I'm such a mess to mine. I can't tell him. But if you told him, he'll tell you how many messes he did, and that the wife just sympathized with him. Now, so you need to actually be aware. But what I'm trying to say in practical experience, and I'm using my life as an example, plus my reading, it's important to understand that this type of a person is what? That you don't go to the MD for this relationship. You go to somebody who is your colleague. Somebody equal to. They are not better than you. They are not senior to you. But so there is no issue of feeling small or feeling big. You just open up. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit of having this relationship with a person, the first one I've said is honest. But the other one is the fact that because they are your age, they know your mentality better. There is something called age culture, where if you are age mates or same level, you seem to understand each other's better. So that even if you are not opening up, the person can easily guess what is your problem. And they can actually help you. Like if you are being tempted to go into a depression, they are the first people to tell you, the direction you are going into a depression. You are likely to start hanging your neck instead of your leg. So please, wake up. Take leave. Don't be at work. There's something at work that is causing you trouble. Or there is something at home that is causing you trouble. Go and leave. Go somewhere. Now, those are people, your friends, isn't it? Now, you need them at work, at home, everywhere. You need those kind of people who understand you so well that even without asking for help, they can give you help you have never asked for. Because they understand you, they love you, they are interested in you, and they are carrying your level. So that's the second reason why it's important for you to have this person who is just about your level and can help you. But the third thing is, and that is not very positive, you compete with them also. Because you see, this one I can handle. Now, this older person, you can't catch up. This younger person, even if you did better than them, so what? But this other one, when you get promotion faster than them, you feel nice. Now, that's not a very good thing. It's not very Christian even. But but the point is that spirit that allows you to work, and you feel like this one I can do. Like if the president drives a big vehicle, the vice president also wants to drive a similar vehicle. But if you are just a Monanichi somewhere, it doesn't bother you. Does he drive a Mercedes, a Cadillac? It's none of your business. You are looking for a bicycle. Now, so you need to understand you don't compete. Have you ever heard of something called peer pressure? Peer pressure. Similar people have pressure on each other. Because people who are not peers don't pressure each other. Because if somebody bigger than you gets a promotion, it doesn't bother you. But if somebody equal to you gets a promotion, it forces you to work harder. Am I right? So it's important to understand, although I'm saying it's not a very negative, it's not a very positive idea. It works. That you need people in your colleague level whom you are trying to help each other and compete with each other positively. So that you are trying to to be better together as a group. And it's important that is done. I realize I wanted to go to my notes and I realize I may not have the time. But let me quickly just look at the negatives. Each one of the mentors, there is but watch out. Let's start again with the first group. Mentees, people less than you. What's the negative of it? If you stick with the people lower than you, chances are, if those are the only relationship you are having, they have a negative drain. I call it a drain, isn't it? It lowers your standard. If, for example, every time the mentee comes to your house, they say, what a wonderful marriage you have. You know it's not very good. But they keep telling you until you believe it. So you never improve. So that's one of the negative things about spending all your time with the people not as good with like in every area. We use marriage, it can be professional. Your workmate is mediocre. So you are helping him. So what does it do to you? It makes you feel wonderful. And because you feel wonderful, you never improve. Can you see then that becoming the village mentor, everybody, you are mentoring everybody, it makes you go down. I don't know if that is true of your school system here. But in Kenya, they have a very negative thing of school competing with each other. And it causes a lot of trouble. Currently, the Minister of Education in Kenya is actually asking the police to arrest teachers who are trying to make people go to school during school holidays. Because the schools compete so seriously, the children never go on holiday. They declare a holiday, they are returned back. Because the teachers are competing, which will be the best school at the end of the year. And there is a real serious competition in the process. Now that can be good, that can be bad, as the schools are competing. But you know the problem. If you compete within a school and you are number one, what happens to you? Even your parents are always buying you prizes. You are number one last year, number one this year, number one, they buy you prizes. When you come to the national exam, your school is the last. You are the best among the last. Are you going to university? No. After all the gifts your parents have been buying throughout the years for you, you can't go to university because you are only the best among mediocre people. So you feel so great because you are mentoring people who are lower than you. That doesn't make you good. Are you getting the point? And that's the negative thing of spending too much time without balance with people who are lower than you. And there are people who have that spirit of helping, that spirit of assisting others. So they spend all their life with the people. Sometimes for positive reason, but please note it's sometimes the negative. Since they are being beaten by their colleagues, they want to go somewhere they are king. Now so they spend all their time with the children. And that's good initially. I told you it's good. It's also negative because you are running away from competition. You are running away from the challenges of life. So it's important to go even in your workplace and understand there are people you need to help, but there are people who are doing so well in the bank. Befriend them. In addition to befriending the other ones whom you are helping, befriend these people who are doing well. Am I clear? It's important to be aware that if you spend all your time with the people who are mediocre, alone, they are likely to pull you down to where you be big, and yet when you're put at the people of your level, you are not that big. So the first thing I want to say. The second thing, maybe I should not spend too much time. Let me move over to the top people. What is dangerous about being with all the time with people senior to you? Because it's so negative. If all you are, and you know there are people like that. Have you seen there are people who are always, all their friends are old people? They don't, somehow they can't, they are girls of 17, 18, but all their time they are 40s, 50s, those are the people we with. And they feel so happy. If you go visiting them, they say, oh, I'm busy. You know, I'm meeting Mama so-and-so. Now, you need to understand, if you are spending all your time with old people, you age before your time. Are we together? There are things you do, like there is some music which they listen to. There's music of your age. Now you are listening to their type of music when you ever know yours. Within no time, you know they also be dead with their music. What do you listen to? Now it's important to understand that although it's good to be with older people, there is something negative. The same thing with professional people. If you are keeping with people who are senior in a senior club. One of the things they do, if you are always with them, is that you are always feeling small. You will soon end up suffering from lack of self-appreciation. You have no self-confidence. Because something tells you you are not good enough. Because you cannot compare with them. So it's important to understand that if you always operate with other people, with the better people, it can become an intimidating factor, which can become your personality weakness. Because you don't have confidence in facing anything. Every time I want to do something, but I can't do it like the MD. Now who told you must do it like the MD? You are not yet MD. But you need to say you will be as good as the MD. So you need to remind yourself that you are good at your level. And if you spend all your time with the people that are better than you, that will not happen. So it's important to understand that everything is always, and that's the trouble with life, everything is positive and negative. Just like people who keep time are good. But people who keep time are also bad. Because if you keep time too much, then sometimes you do not even finish what you are doing in the name of keeping time. So timekeeping becomes a vision and an objective. Well, timekeeping is not an objective. It's a means to an end, isn't it? So even if you keep time and you never met your end. For example, you are doing surgery on me, and you say, I'm going to do it in 3 hours. Then in the 3 hours end, and my lungs are still out. Now, if you leave me on the table, I'll die, isn't it? So your surgery, you are keeping time is not an end. It's only a means. So can you see, whereas we say in Africa, our biggest problem is keeping time. But the Mwazungus, they are keeping time is their undoing. Their marriages are gone, their people are firing. No, there are a lot of trouble out of people keeping time. So I'm not asking you not to keep time. I'm only trying to show you, and I'm using it as an example to show you, you must always be conscious as we are looking at things you want to do. So although I have recommended you are mentored by senior people, I'm trying to show you there is a negative side. Everything has positive and negative. Even the person you finally marry, he will be a good man and a bad man. None exists. You know, there's men who like calling girls angels. Oh, my angel. Now, you know, men are not allowed to marry angels. So the day he proposes no, he knows you're not an angel. Because men don't marry angels. So you need to understand that for him to propose, he has discovered you are not an angel, you are a woman. Now it's important to understand. So it's a critical thing to understand as you deal with human beings. Everybody has positive and negative. And you know that's a very critical lesson to learn. Remember, I started my introduction saying learning is a thing that you need in life. And I'm talking about who do you learn it from. It's a critical thing to learn in life because the day you will discover everybody has strength and weakness, it will stop you getting to be overconfident. Like if you are selling credit, it's not a danger. Somebody comes to you and tells you, I've been having like I've just told you, I've been a KCB customer from 1977, and then I've given you the impression, therefore I'm a wonderful customer. What you don't know is unless you check my account is how many times I have bounced checks. You'd have to check it, isn't it? But if you listen to me, you will just give me any money I want, isn't it? Please understand that everybody is good and bad all at the same time. So it helps you to check, if, for example, if you're in the credit department, that even the very bad person has a negative side. But number two, it helps you to also know that even a thief has a positive side. Somebody comes and breaks into your house, and one of them, he says, no, let's not take the fridge. The child's milk will go bad. So here, he's a thief, but a good thief. Are you getting the point? Everybody, please look, even the worst person, and that's one of the things, if you're a supervisor, you must know. One of your worst employees, there's a contribution he is making, where, if you recognize it, you'll work on his bad side. But if you only become an expert in noting what is wrong with an employee, then people who are good, you throw them out. Like they say, you throw the baby in the bad water. Whereas you're supposed to keep the baby and throw away the bad water. So it's important to understand that idea of people being good and bad. So when you have an employee who is he is such a nuisance, you want him fired, ask yourself, but for the HR people to have recruited him, what did they see? Or were they blind? I must check what is good in him. Do you know the day you discover how good the person is, what will happen? It will not mean that he is not bad in the other areas, but you assist him to become good because you know the areas he is good. And everyone has it. I still remember an employee I had in Nairobi. He used to be distributor manager for Shell, and I had an employee in Nairobi whose major problem was drinking. So, but if you give him a piece of work, the guy was so bright. If only he was able to do it, everybody will be talking about it. But then the trouble goes with the drinking. He runs away, he comes late with an animal called hangover. Now you need to understand, you have to manage him. So the top manager keeps reporting, let's fire him. I said, no. Before you fire him, what are his strengths? He's the one who told me, let me be honest, Mr. Nganga, this guy in the depot, this is the way he helps me. So I decided to talk to him and transfer him to Eldoret, which is another depot. Somehow, he changed, became a Christian, stopped drinking, and gave us a lot of effort. By that time, it was almost decided we were firing. But I when we finally got the kind of result we got out of the man, finally we sent him to Tanzania, to when Shell was opening work in Tanzania, to help us. But it only came from identifying what is good in the person. It gives you the interest to invest in helping him out. But if all you are good is seeing what is negative about people, surely you are not a good supervisor. Because one of the biggest jobs of a supervisor is to be able to identify the strengths and the weaknesses. Because once you can't see any strength, you are likely to be encouraged to help the person. So the bank will be the losers. Because it will keep a certain type of people, and some of the strength that are in these bad people, quote unquote, will disappear to other banks. So you must know there are people kept in the bank, and yet everybody can see how bad they are, because there is something good about them. Obviously, since I'm not promising you that your supervisors will be always this good, you better be good in all areas. But if the supervisors are listening, then they are also knowing that there is something that can help you. And have realized everybody can be helped. Every employee can be helped if you invest in helping. But you must see what is good. I just wanted to and I have to finish. Maybe at another time, since my time is up, I can't deal with it. I just wanted to talk about what I call a car that can move you to. A car is an instrument that can move you to your destination. And unfortunately, I'll just mention, I'll not deal with the subject because my introduction was longer than it should have been. I am saying, nobody realizes their potential unless they use the car. What is the car? The car is you work on your capacity, you work on your achievement drive, and you work on your relationships. Anybody without those three never reaches the top. Some people have capacity but no achievement drive. Some people have relationships but they don't have capacity. Let me just quickly, and I will not go beyond that, I will just do the introduction. Tell you what they are. Capacity is the ability to analyze an issue and identify possible solutions and pick the best solution. What's capacity? Ability to identify a problem, look at alternative solutions, and pick the best solution. And I can see somewhere you'll be talking about decision making, so that I don't want to deal with that. But I can tell you, anybody without that is unlikely to go very far in their career. And not everybody has a high capacity. You know, one of the things that has surprised me in my career as a manager is to see people with the first class honors in the certificate. They come to your department, and you know, since you are the one who was interviewed, you know, this was first class honors, this was only a pass, this one just barely passed. But because of their strength, they are all working for you. Within no time, you realize the vacancy there is for promotion. It's not on the first class honors, it's on the pass. Even at the night you feel guilty. How can you promote somebody who just passed? But then if you are following a scorecard system, and I think KCB uses scorecard, does it? If you are following a scorecard system, the file is useless. The degree you got, by the way, it only manages to pass you to the interview. But then it doesn't even make you pass the interview, only to be shortlisted. Whether you had first class or lower class or no class, it's important to know all that paper does is to bring you to the interviewing table. How you perform in the interview is totally unrelated to how well you did in school. But a lot of people who had first class honors never do well at work, because they got the impression in their head that the first class is useful at work. Let me tell you good news. For those of you who are new, it's not useless. It's totally useless. It will not help you in any way what grade you had. Because using the scorecard system, they never refer to your previous grade. They give you targets for this year and the KPIs that you measure whether you met your target. If you meet them, even if you had a crawling color and others pass with flying colors, it will not matter. The manager has no alternative than to give you a name in that particular area. Am I right? Those of you at the back, am I right? Yes. So that it's irrelevant. So capacity is not just passing an exam. It's the ability to whatever issue in front of you. It is the ability to look at it and divide it up, put it back together, and a lot of people don't have that ability. The reason you are doing chemistry, the reason you are doing physics, the reason you are doing engineering was to give you those skills. That's why at least in Nairobi, when you pass a degree, the chancellor normally says, I give you power to read. I don't know that they do that in French. Well, but in Nairobi, when you are graduating, I still remember when I graduated in the 70s. Not when I graduated, I had it before when I was still a student. And I attended Kenyatta, those days, Kenyatta, our president was Kenyatta, the first president of Kenya. And so he's the one, there was only one university, so he was the chancellor of the university. So he used to say, I give you power to read. Now I said, how can you give a graduate power to read while he has been reading illegally? Because obviously, he has read all the while. Then when he's graduating, he's given power to read. But many years later, I've understood that university education only prepares to be a permanent learner. Are we together? So that's why I'm saying it's a critical thing, and you'll not grow very far until you learn how to be a permanent. You know, the lawyers are good at it because they call each other learners. The learned friend. That means a person who is permanently a student. You need to understand, even in banking, you must be permanently learning, so that you can keep improving your capacity. Why? Nobody will pay you for not anybody pays you for solutions. So you don't have that capacity to be. And by the way, it comes as your supervisors will see very quickly. I give you a problem. I give that person a problem. That problem quickly comes back to me. That person comes quickly and tells me what the problem really is and what are the possible solutions. And between the manager and myself, we agree. The other one is still struggling. Because as soon as they see the first solution, they don't go anywhere else. They assume that is the answer. So capacity is important. It's part of the car. It is important to grow it. And maybe at another time we can go into it. Because the whole subject, that will take the whole day. But I hope it helps you to see. So I'm hoping as a new beginning your career, that will enter your mind. That is not a degree I did. It's my ability, if I'm a cashier, if I'm in credit, it's my ability to look at the issues and see the problems. Whoever is able to identify the problems quickly as a solution is likely to get the promotion fast if they are following the scorecard system. And it's important to grow that. However, many people with that gift, because it's a gift from God, but you can improve it. The ability to be analytical, to think about solutions, many of them may not necessarily have achievement. What is achievement? Drive. It's different from capacity. This person has been able to analyze the problem. He has recommended a solution, but he has no staying power. Drive is self-drive, where you think what to do and you consistently do it until the problem is over. That's what we call a drive. Not many of us have. You tell somebody, please go see this customer. He goes to see the customer, then the customer happens not to be in. He comes back. What happened? The customer was not in. That person has no drive. A person in a drive will say, he's not in. Yes. When is he coming back? Now, at 3 o'clock. Where is he? In parliament. Does he go for tea during, is there a tea break in parliament? Yes. I'll see him in parliament during the tea break. But somebody else, once you have a good excuse, you come back to your manager and tell him, sir, the guy was not in. Here it is not lack of analytical power. It is that you don't want to push yourself. It's laziness, but we don't call it laziness. We use good technical term. He is lacking self-drive. Now, you need to understand that many gifted people with capacity, where managers know that young man is the best his bank has, never reach the top. Not because they lack capacity, but because they don't have that drive. As an Englishman called resilience, the ability. No, when I'm interviewing people, that's the thing I look for most. Because even if you don't have capacity, anybody with drive will go to the top. The thing that differentiates people is not the original capacity. It is the ability to push. You analyze yourself, you not even do as much analysis, but whatever you do it until it is done. Many people lack it. The drive to achieve. The resilience. Even after things have gone wrong, you still rise out of it. You know, there are people where they come up with a wonderful paper. They tell the bosses what you want to do. If the boss says no, they are so discouraged, they will never come up with another one. That is a person without drive to achieve. And if you don't have it, you'll not go very far. So it's important to start asking yourself, do I give up very easily? If I give up easily, by the way, this drive to achieve is not professional. It's also true in your mother's place. In fact, during the interview, what you want to use is, has your mother ever given you an exercise to do and you did not do? Why did you not do it? Have you ever faced a difficult situation where you failed? How did you react to the failure? Those are the things that can help you, because it's an attitude of mind. And normally people who don't do well, even at work, even relationship, they don't. The husband says, you have no money to buy the car, I'm leaving you. Now you need to understand that she is not committed to the marriage. She has no drive to stay in the marriage. Instead of sitting down and saying, a car. But you can start riding a bicycle. Now, you need to understand that they don't, if you are committed to the marriage, you will stay in it, car or no car. Now, the issue I'm trying to open up so that you see it's not about marriage. You require that ability to stay. And I can tell you, many people who went to the end. Have you ever had the people we call people who are inventors? Like the guy who tried the telephone. He tried so many times. After someone met him on the 900th failure, he was saying, don't you give up? He said, no. Now I know 900 ways how not to try. So I'm trying the next one. So the more you fail, the more you feel you are better. Are we together? You know, life is like high jump. What is high jump? High jump, and since you have just seen the Olympic, you can understand it quickly. High jump is a game where everybody rewarded for failing. You know, high jump never stops until all people fail. Have you ever noticed that? High jump is a game of failures. So you jump, you fail, you come out. You jump until the last person fails. That game continues. Am I right? Have you watched the high jump or pole vault? Have you seen it? It continues until the last person makes the bar fall 3 times. Once he fails the last time, the whole field is clapping for this failure. Because although he is a failure, he was the latest failure. Are you getting the joke? Now you need to understand that's how life is. It will be full of some you win, some you lose. You need attained power. Something that forces you to continue. Even when that client throws you out. What is it you can do? If you continue, chances are the account will finally open. If you continue, finally you may be able to gain that client. That's what we are looking for. In KCB, in church, at home. If you are looking for a boyfriend, that's the kind of boyfriend you need, isn't it? Who will not give up very easy on you. I'm giving you up now. So I don't know how many wives he will drop. Now you need to understand that whatever person, if you meet people who don't have this drive, they need help. Do you agree with me? Because that's the way life is. But the car has a nerve. So I've already said you need the capacity. And it's a very specific thing. I hope you have understood it. I've said you need drive. And I hope now it's clear what drive is. Now you need the relationship. And this is the one that misses in a lot of places. Where you have the capacity to deal with the problem. You have a drive to persist. But you don't know how to relate with the people. Relationship. So far, no career has been discovered where you can achieve without a team. It doesn't exist. At least not in KCB. I told you I began in a development bank. Although I left it more than that years ago. But I can tell you, if you want to do well in KCB, be aware you can't do well unless you know how to work in teams. So relationship, that word, relationship, is critical. And what's the relationship? The ability to work with others. The ability to convince the other person. The ability to tolerate the other person. Those are critical things that are related in us. You know, when you were in the university, we used to ask, if you are not a people person, what job can you do? You know what people used to say? Go and do veterinary science. You know vets work with who? Animals. So me, I actually believed it, that people who work with vets are people who don't like talking. They are not, marketing people are thought to be the people who are interested in people, isn't it? Then vets are people who are not interested in people, they are interested in animals, isn't it? Actually, somebody gave me an example and understood. Somebody opened a clinic in Karen. Karen, not now, but Karen is a place in Nairobi where they used to have 5 acres. So the Wazungus had horses and animals. So you kept a clinic there, you are assured of getting customers. So somebody from a technical junior college, Ahiti, was called Ahiti, is a vet for training vets, and somebody from the University of Nairobi with a master's, opening clinics. They're opening clinics in the same place. But this one is such a researcher, top scientist. There's no way he can compete with this guy. So you expect all women who own cats, all men with the dogs, all men with the horses to be bringing to the clinic. Because this is the guy. But the guy simply had no relationship. So a woman comes with a cat to the clinic and says, this cat, there's something wrong, it is disturbed. Says, don't worry, mama, give it in. And it's passed in. So she asks, what's wrong with my cat? Says, you leave it in, come back at 3 o'clock and leave your number, we will call you. I'll treat the cat. The guy was such a top scientist that he is able to diagnose the disease, give the medicine, and the lady comes at 4 o'clock, her cat is ready, it's even jumping around. She is so happy. She's asking the vet, what was wrong with my cat? He says, it's okay, now go. Now you need to understand that lady, especially women, not all women, I'm not saying all women, but women like talking, am I right? So the idea is, although it was the cat sick, even the owner of the cat was also sick. And what was the treatment for the owner? Talking. Now when you refuse to talk, the cat is okay, but the owner is? But who is writing the check? Does the cat write a check? Who writes the check? The owner. What do you think she will do? Next time she will never come to that one. She will go to the other vet of a diploma person. Because there, the guy is waiting. Mama, hey, nice to see you. What's wrong with your cat this time? I don't know. Then he listens. He seems to have all the time. Says, Mama, let the cat go in. But I will tell you exactly what's wrong with it. God has given you a gift on cats. Then you go work on the cat. It may not even be as happy as the other cat from the other side. When he comes in the evening, Mama, you are back. Wow, your cat is smiling. Just look at it. Now, and this is the reason. You are like your brothers. You know you are treating the owner of the cat, isn't it? When they go back, they will never leave your clinic. Although you are just a diploma, the other guy has a postgraduate degree in veterinary science. Am I communicating? There is no such a job as a job where you can work without people. And if you don't know how to work with your juniors, with your seniors, with your clients, please resign before the end of the week. You still have another few days, isn't it? Say to the course, during the Friday when people are graduating, please hand over your resignation letter. Because it's not possible to work in KCB without the art. And I'm finishing now, among my workmates, I have discovered many of my friends who have capacity. They're just gifted. One of them even finally became my boss, and we're just about the same age. But he became my boss. Let me give him credit. He is really good. But as we talk today, he's dead. He's committed suicide. He was so totally unable to work with the people. He ended up divorcing one woman, then divorced the second woman, then finally he was alone, then finally he killed himself. One of the top minds Kenya knows, who was educated out of this country. He was picked in our days when we used to do A-level, was picked among the very top in the country and sent to Britain for training, and then came back. Now, I saw him mess himself up. I tried to be of help as much as I could, but I realized you could never say he had no drive. He is the kind of guy, whatever project you give him, he will write on anybody to achieve it. He delivered whatever management wanted. And he was bright, able to analyze. He never had an art. And after some time, everybody working with him wants to resign. So you have the management has a decision to make. Do we keep this wonderful person at the expense of the other staff? Finally, they found a way of getting rid of him. By that time he was in the boardroom. He was the very top. And they offered to pay him out, rather than continue having him. Now you need to understand that if you don't know how to relate to the people, your future is bleak, almost an impossible life. You must work on yourself to be able to recognize the gifts in others so that you are able to respect them. Whenever you think you are the best, others are not good, chances are you relate with them like they are your juniors. They are like they are useless, like you don't need them, which is a lie. Everybody is employed and is important. KCB could never have brought in the person here if there is nothing good in them. If you can't see it, the problem is not them, it's you. You have blind eyes. Look for it. there is something good in the person. And once you recognize what is good in a person, it becomes easier to work with them, isn't it? This guy is so talkative, but he can deliver. So although you don't like his talkativeness, you are willing to survive the talkativeness. Because you know if you work with him in a team, your team will be the best. Are we together? You must look at what is good with the person. Now, unfortunately, this is something, by the way, don't give me credit. You can Google this concept about performance. It's called performance criteria or performance prerequisites. And you can Google it. It's a concept that is important. But what we are saying is, those are 3 critical things for anybody to realize their potential. My time is up. But is there somebody I have confused? Just before I sit down, I can unconfuse. Oh, you want me to say what my website is? Yeah, currently I'm running a series on integrity. You are working with integrity. It's www.johnganga. Is there a first step? Oh, it's here. .org. If you are in Kenya, you'll be tempted to put apostrophes on the G. Don't. Yeah, so that's the way to. You'll get, my consultant is called Taruma Consultants. You'll get it on that one. And if you want to write, we can start talking. So that's a good. Anybody else with a comment, a question before I sit?
Okay, good. Learn something? Hello? Okay, thanks a lot, John.
Thank you.
I think the letter as I rightly mentioned in the beginning, I think I needed someone who's gone before us, someone who's got the experience, the knowledge and everything to take us off. I think we're off to a good start. Do you agree with me? The bar has been set. So from now it is building. Next, knowledge by knowledge. And I think we started on accomplishing the knowledge, getting to know more about ourselves, and we'll be moving forward. So thanks a lot, John Gang. So probably, maybe you can take some few 5 minutes break, just a bathroom break. You can stretch a bit. We can, take a walk 5 minutes and then just come back. I think the tea is not ready. So we'll just get some 5 minutes, stretch a bit, go to the washroom, come back, and then we can have the next session. Yes. So we're free to break 5 minutes.
Oh, I've taken more than an hour. Yes.
Hello. I wanted to know where you find your book.
My books?
Yes.
Now, I don't know, Biblica. Just Google Biblica. Biblica. B-I-B-L-A. Biblica. Or write to me so I can give you the telephone number. That's easier. You go to my website, you write to me. Then I now get the actual telephone number of the person here. Because I told the distributor to tell them, but they didn't come to the conference. So I didn't meet the person. So I think you are right. Then instead of bothering with that, just write to me. When I'm in Nairobi, the headquarters is in Nairobi. So I will just ring and ask for the telephone number. Asante.